Wayne Britta with Medallion Pools. I want to give you an in-depth, step-by-step look at a swimming pool build that's very common with Medallion Pools. So here's what we have. We have a blank canvas. Most homeowners are going to have a lot of different things in their backyard. In this particular case, we have, you can see the sawdust. We removed the tree, or the customer actually removed the tree. And if you pan around, there's some other items in there that we're going to help move out of the way to prep us in preparation of getting the pool finally laid out before we set elevation, before we actually bring the tractor in the yard, before we really start getting everything going. Very typical case, this is going to be a complete war zone of debris and dirt everywhere until we're done with this particular project. Next up, on this particular project, we're doing the custom in-floor engineered cleaning system. Now, normal projects, the steel would be going in next, but in this particular project, because it has an in-floor system, the plumbing hydraulics are going in. So the plumbing hydraulics for the in-floor system, and as well as the circulation filtration system, will be done at this time. Once this is installed, then what we'll do is move on to the steel structure. Another point to note, some particular digs will have some marks or some painting notations left on the inside of the structure. This is very particular and very common to each pool, depending on how the pool is to be built, whether a waterfall, a grotto, water features, large benches, whatever may be done, is some of the orange paint is what you'll see. These are the notes from the excavators to make sure we can do our check and balance, that the structure is ready to go ahead and install the steel once the plumbing is done. You can see the trenches down over here. Depending on how much access, you'll see plenty of hydraulic runs which are run around the pool, not in one stem, or i.e. running down the bottom of the pool, which is not particular to how we build. We don't heat the plumbing and bend it. We'll have glue joints that will go around the pool structure. All right, well, we're back, and we've got, you can see, we've got the in-floor hydraulics. These are the tubes that are coming up, the Schedule 40. If you take a close look, you notice there is nothing heat treated. Big no-no, heat treating plumbing under the pool. Heating up PVC will weaken the structure of the PVC. The only time heated PVC can be used is on an as-needed basis or in a non-stress load. Now, in this particular case, we have the in-floor custom cleaning system installed, and we're now putting the steel in. Each particular pool has its own special call-out, depending on the depth, the break, the benches, etc. In this particular case, our minimum weave in the bottom in 3/8 steel is 10-inch on center. In some areas, it could get as close as 2-inch. If this pool were close to the foundation of the home, we could have a double curtain wall steel. There could be a number of different ways the steel can be done. Our standard call out is, as you see, for minimum of 4.5-inch steel bars on the perimeter or 4-bar box beam. Any type of structures, waterfalls, or anything else at this time will be steely and structure reinforced, ready for the gunite. Pools of this state shouldn't sit longer than a week or so. Any other type of timeline leaving pools could create some chaotic issues for the pool builder. In our particular case, our pools don't sit very long. We're back here. As you can see, the gunite is now shot. This is really the 90 to 95% of the structure that most homeowners will see before you get tile and stone. Now you can notice in the back here, you can see the support structure for the waterfall. You can now see the tanning ledge. You can now see the steps and benches. This is typically how most homeowners will see this, where they can start to see the pool coming to shape exactly how it was originally designed. Now, if you notice around the pool, there is still a lot of rough items that are taking place. This pool is already at the rough electrical stage. In this particular city, we will leave the trenches open. We'll have the inspection for this. Some cities don't require that. Another item on this particular pool is you don't get to see our custom water system. Most builders will ask the homeowner to hand water the gunite shell, which is nothing that we do at Medallion Pools. We have a custom watering system, and we take the responsibility to water the system. And this is how we offer, again, our lifetime guarantee structure, one-time transferable at no additional charge. There's no smoke and mirror with the gunite shell with us. It is shot right with the right sack mix, with the right density and the right PSI. As you can see how it's curing, you can see some of the white off-gassing, if you will, of the calcium coming out, which is particular to how gunite should look at this stage. Okay, we're having a quick view at the equipment. We asked electricians just to step aside for just a minute so we can kind of have a bird's eye view of what's taking place. We got our panel over here. We got our electronic salt unit, the AquaPure. This particular set of equipment is all Jandy. This also has a secondary pump for the in-floor system. Now, this may not be exactly what every homeowner gets, but it's pretty close depending on the orientation of the plumb runs and the hydraulics. We've got the tile and stone crew here today. Now, a few things that you may notice is the site is starting to look a little more cleaned up. Now, the trenches are now filled in. This is our preparation getting ready for decking. Now, in this particular phase, we have the tile crew in the back. They are leveling the tile. The gunite is not necessarily level. You still have to level the tile for the water line. Big no-no and a mistake when a builder does not do this, or they are simply unaware or unskilled to do this, is how you have pools that appear unlevel, is because this step is not done. At this time, they'll go ahead and put their scratch coat. They'll do their water seal for the waterfall over here in preparations of getting all these things done. Typical tile and coping may take 2 to 3 days, depending on the size of the pool, the complexity, depending on the tile and what type of mix needs to be used. So there's many variances and not just one type of mix for everything. So these things may vary. Another thing that we can take a look at now is also the bond wire around here. Now, this bond wire is now exposed, and we can take a look at the next portion of our next major step is going to be the deck frame. or the actual steel equipotential grid that's going to be laid down. Most cities will ask for this inspection to prevent any type of electrocution. Now, once the water seal is actually placed, we have a rock and water ledge that's cut into the gunite, and we have a waterfall pad. The waterfall pad is actually poured a certain way to make sure water doesn't go behind the pool beam. Now, once that's in place, the crew will start roughing in the water feature. That's typically done after all the coping and tile is set, and this will be the last thing that's done on this particular job site. All right, we're back. We've got the deck frame here going on. Now, what you can see here is simply the substructure. We have the steel underpinning, we have the turn downs, and we have the form set. This is a very typical layout of how a deck frame would go. In this particular case, as there's no deck behind the pool structure, the bond wire will be exposed. That is part of the equipotential bond we talked about just briefly at the last segment. Another couple things to note, we can see the drainage that is now getting stubbed out. This is where the deck drains, or i.e. the overflow for this particular project is going to be. The next major step in this, once the deck is framed, is you can see the polyvoid. There is a little foam substrate that is going around the flagstone coping. That will get pulled out, and this is where we install our mastic joint that prevents water from going between the decking and the pool structure. The next major thing also inside the shell will be to stub out the floor heads and getting it ready for plaster. We're at the stage now where the pool is prepped. You can see a couple of different things down here. Number one, you see the little blue caps that are here. This is for the balanced hydraulic cleaning system. This is the in-floor system. And then also, as you look around to the perimeter of the pool, you'll see some black fittings in there. That is for the filtration system. So there is two hydraulic systems in this pool, and this is a very typical prepping scenario. A little bit of water down in the bottom from the rain. If the guys were here just recently and they did clean it, it's very normal, nothing to be alarmed about. Another item of notice is you can now see the depth thickness between the tile and the gunite. This is a very common question people ask: what is the thickness of the interior? You can easily see it is the thickness of the tile. That is very common on your steps and coves, maybe much thicker, but in your wall, in your coating, That is the thickness of how pebble and quartz or plasters will be applied to each pool.